Okay, 4. Yeah! Dogs in Boulder gyms. Beginning or end of last year, I started to boulder a lot and I spent a lot of time inside Boulder gyms, hopefully outside soon as well. And Ninja is always with me. And I want to take you with us today and show you how an evening in the Boulder gym with Ninja looks like. What are the rules? What is the dog etiquette? What does he do? How do other people react to him? And what do I think overall about dogs in Boulder gyms and public spaces and how to treat them actually or not to treat them. Before we enter the gym, I think Ninja should have some action as well. So he goes in exhausted and ready to sleep. Hoch, Pfote, Pfote. Ja, nee, richtig. Fokus, Pfote und hoch. Ja, okay. Komm, und vor. Und links der Baum und vor. Yes, Fokus. Und vor. Yeah. Oh, sehr schön. Komm, Fokus. Wallspin. Yes, und Fokus. Oh, sehr schön. Und Wallspin. Yes, sehr schön. Ninja. Drop it. Genau. Let's go. Let's do it. Und weiter. Und Fokus. Und vor. Tunnel, Tunnel. Yes. Und komm weiter. Und vor. Backwards. Okay, und vor. Sehr schön. Stay. Und vor. Yes, Fluff, komm mal her. So, whenever he is carrying this, he takes his job so seriously that's hierher, links, sorry, rechts durch. Attention, Fokus. Und vor, und vor. Yes, Fluff. Komm mal her. Gehen wir weiter. Hier hin. Okay, now we are entering a playground. Let's just check. Okay, there are not really a lot of families, so I think we can do a little action here. Und auf die Tischtennisplatte und vor. Drop it. Fokus und komm runter. Okay, und vor. Stay. Und eins weiter. Und yeah. Oh, Challenge. Okay. Nochmal. Fokus. Und hoch. Und Fokus und vor. Und weiter. Yes. Okay, attention. Und runter. Und vor. Und weiter rum. Und Tunnel. Und vor. Und Brezi. Turn around. Und wieder eins hoch. Und weiter rüber. Und runter. Fokus und hoch. Und nimm die Tasche. Und weiter geht's. Dankeschön. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ninja, attention. Backwards. Und Pikachu. Oh, er hat verkackt. He didn't do it. One more time. Nee, drop it. And he knows he did it wrong. There's one more go. But maybe I was also just not in a good position. Pikachu. Yes. And he was checking in if I went another way. So I expect him to wait till I clearly go on it. Then he's allowed to pass with me. Like this. Ninja, zur Seite. If you have been bouldering in Berlin, you have seen that there are more than enough boulder gyms. Probably one of the hot spots in the world, but correct me if I'm wrong. Our favorite gym is Bertha Block. I mean, it is the one closest to our home, which has a bit impact in my decision making, but it's also one of the biggest ones, and the boulder problems are really cool most of the time. Also, there's a really cool community of people, and from all the gyms I have been so far around Europe, it is the gym where I feel Ninja is most secured, the safest and most respected. And yeah, how it, maybe a little insight how it started. I actually didn't plan to go bouldering regularly, but I was looking for a place where I could do lifting. And most gyms don't allow dogs, but boulder gyms nearly always allow dogs, at least in the ones I have been. And so it was my call to train lifting there actually. And then it just turned out that it became less lifting, more climbing. And yeah, that's pretty much the story how we ended being here pretty much 2 to 4 times a week. And but enough chit chat, let's go in and check out how being inside with a dog actually is. So, if you're planning on hitting a boulder gym with your dog, just ask beforehand if dogs are allowed and if you can bring your dog, in which areas you can't bring your dog. Because obviously most of the time they are not allowed on the mats, and even if they are allowed on the mats, they should not be beneath people climbing. A lot of boulder gyms, at least here in Berlin, allow them everywhere except on the mats, but I also experienced boulder gyms where the dogs were just allowed to be in the waiting area, which is fair enough, I think. And the best times to go, in my opinion, are like very early in the morning, before school classes and birthday parties can come, or very late in the evening from 8 p.m. on. I mean, you can bring them during the day, at least here in Berlin, to most gyms, but yeah, you have to make sure that your dog can actually handle that, right? Because I don't see any reason why dogs should not come to public spaces like boulder gyms and wait in the front area while the people are training. But I also think it comes with respect, right? It's a boulder gym, it's not a dog area, so the people who go there for climbing should have number one priority, and our dogs should be no annoyment for them. And yeah, I want to first talk about dog people who bring their dogs, and later on I will talk about strangers and if you don't have a dog, how you should treat other dogs, right? So for dog people, as I said before, it's no training area. Make sure that your dog is well behaved before going there. Maybe hit some cafes or other public places where you can train that, and just really bring your dog if your dog is not annoyed by a lot of people and can stay a certain distance from you without anyone has to keep an eye on them. Right? Also, they should be trained to hectic movements, because sometimes people are just falling down from the mats or running around, and it should be, it shouldn't bother your dog. So if you see other dogs, like in the Bertha block where I go a lot, I see heaps of different dogs, and Ninja is not allowed to say hi to every dog. He's allowed to say hi to the other dogs that seem like they are okay with it, and if I see the owner around. Otherwise, we just ignore the dog, and I think this is the right way to do it. Like if the other dog doesn't show any interest, just let them be. There is no need for your dog to say hi to all the other dogs. In general, I'm not a big fan of that. And also a big no, in my opinion, is let dogs play with other dogs in a boulder gym. Again, it's nicely meant, but people are there for bouldering, and not everyone feel maybe super comfortable around dogs, especially when the dogs start to move around, right? Like a dog that's laying around, it's much more comfortable for people who are afraid than a dog that's moving. I do see there is space for exceptions if you have the right space, like a big outside area where no one is bothered. Then what is really important to me, if you bring your dog, like don't bring your dog and just let him be somewhere in the middle of an open space where they don't feel well. Like we had this example here where this dog is just in the middle of an open space, and obviously is like seems a bit lost and not super comfortable, and I think the dog should have at least a blanket or something else to lay on, just because, come on, the cold concrete also doesn't feel nice for a dog. Just because it's a dog, it's not like an excuse. And also, like I don't think a dog feels very safe in the middle of a big space alone, leashed to a bench. I think like give them a wall or like a corner to lay in, you know, like I mean, if you observe a dog, just take a look where they naturally lay, and I think some dogs are probably fine, but most dogs just aren't, and they prefer something to cover, and they prefer something with a little bit of cover, right? I really don't want to shame anyone. This was just a great example of how I think it should not be, and that you can treat your dog a bit nicer. And also for other people, you know, like, I mean, you can place them in the middle of the floor, and to be fair, I'm someone who often places Ninja just in the middle of somewhere, and I forget that other people could be afraid of it, but it's not the nicest way to deal with it, right? If there's a different space where you can leave your dog, where you don't bother your dog or anyone else, obviously it's the right choice to take that. Then write a sign. Okay, I personally don't want other people to always go to my dog. I want Ninja to be in peace because I also know that he actually doesn't want a lot of the interaction. But dogs often go into the interaction if they are forced to because they cannot go away. So if I tell Ninja to sit somewhere and to wait for me, he will obey and he will not go anywhere. But sometimes the people can be, you know, invasive and think, the dog lays around there, he probably wanna be touched. And like, I think this will always be a thing, and the only way to really work against it is to put out a sign and let other people know that your dog doesn't want to be touched. If your dog loves it, obviously it's a different story. I mean, here at Bertha we have this outside area, and sometimes I also leave Ninja outside with a ball or frisbee and he can go to people and invite them to play. But I know that he's super polite and I don't do this as soon as there's another dog out. For everyone else who goes to a climber gym who doesn't have a dog and sees a dog there, I also think it's part of your job to treat the dog correctly and to not overstep any lines just because the dog is in the Boulder gym, right? It's still a living being and we should be very respectful with that. I had a real bad encounter yesterday where Ninja was actually saying hi to another dog, and there were a group of people coming in and one of the guys did like whoa, 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 towards Ninja. It was just stupid. Don't do that, right? One of the dogs was like 7 months old, and of course she started barking like crazy. When telling the person it was a mistake, of course he didn't understand, right? It was just like he felt insulted that I told him that it wasn't a smart move. So yeah, let this be. So how to treat strange dogs in the gyms? It's pretty simple. Don't make noises towards them like snapping, because honestly, it's most of the time a selfish action, right? You want attention, the dog maybe doesn't. And don't touch them and don't stare at them. The don't stare at them, I think, is the one where most people have problems understanding, or they feel like it's too much if I tell them to don't stare. But just imagine you're sitting somewhere and there are other creatures always staring at you the whole time. And let's say it's no other creatures but other humans, they stare at you. You would feel quite uncomfortable, right? It's the same for dogs, and you can see this in their reactions. A lot of dogs turn their head away. And again, like all those tries to contact a dog, if it's noise, if it's touching, if it's staring, it's most of the time a selfish action, because of course if a dog approaches you, hey, you're welcome to interact with the dog if you want to, right? You also have the right to be annoyed at the dog approaching you, to be completely fair. But I think again the dogs have the right as well. And very often you force them into a situation where they feel uncomfortable. So yeah, as I said, it's completely different. If another dog approaches you and you want the interaction, then go for it. Yeah, we just don't want to make other dogs feel uncomfortable. Then they may feel like they need to bark because they feel insecure, and then people get annoyed by the barking or like by other actions by the dog. I think if we have more respect to each other, it's probably the best for everyone in the future. Because again, I don't see any reason why dogs should not be allowed in Boulder gyms. So today's session was fun, and I hope we could give you a good impression in how chill it can be for dogs and people around. I think no one was really bothered. No person was bothered today by the dogs, and no dogs were bothered by the people. But also all the dogs you saw were really well trained, which I think is a must. Honestly, if you want to bring your dog to public spaces, you need to train your dog for public spaces. Of course, it's easier said than done, and for some dogs they have a back history and everything, but blah, blah, blah.